In this video, I'm going to talk about Solidworks bodies. Solidworks bodies can come in three variations. One is solid bodies. These are generally shown in a list in a folder at the top of the feature manager. And surface bodies. These are also shown in a folder at the top of the feature manager. And there's also an entity called graphics bodies, which includes geometry that's really just for display. Solid bodies are generally defined by a particular volume. It's a part that has watertight boundary, and if I turn off all the rest of these, we can see a single solid body, and that's this mouse button. It has a volume. It's enclosed all the way around by faces, and this is what we call a single solid body. Now, in a part, you can have multiple solid bodies. Let me turn on another one. So here's the bottom of the mouse. This is a separate solid body. The entire mouse is built up of a bunch of separate solid bodies. Why you would want to do this is a different issue. Usually you're going to want to end up with a single solid body in a single part. And that's really for manufacturing reasons and for documentation reasons as well. If you were to try to make a bill of materials from a bunch of individual bodies within a single part, that would probably be a problem. So this is one of the things that we can do when we have a complex part that's made up of several parts. Take an automobile body, for example. You don't make an automobile just out of one piece of metal. You make it out of several pieces of metal, and then you put them together. But you can't design that shape that way. You create the shape for the automobile by making the outside shape as a single shape, and then you split that single shape up into multiple parts. And that's what we've done here with this mouse. Because it's kind of a complex shape, it was modeled starting from a surface loft that goes around the part, and then we did a couple of more operations, added another loft here. There's a lot of things that went into creation of this, and multiple bodies is one of the keys. The surface bodies, if we turn off the solids, we can turn on the surface bodies, and the surface bodies are really just here for reference, or as helpers to help us create the rest of the shape. Let's start with a new part and see how this goes. If we are to create just a single extrusion and extrude this, doesn't matter what feature we use really. Okay, we've got a single solid body. And I'm going to press F8 here to get my display panel to show up. That's a single solid body. Now I'll go back to the sketch and I'll create another sketch that goes like this. This is actually all in the same sketch, but we have two separate enclosed areas. And when we extrude those, we get two separate enclosed volumes. Now you can take a single volume, and let's just draw a line across this. And with this sketch, we can go to Insert, and off the screen is Features, and then back on the screen again is Split. We've already picked up that sketch in the Trimming Surfaces box. You could also have a 3D surface in here. And since I really only want to cut the rectangular body, I'll just go ahead and select that body. Okay, and then I'll click on Cut Bodies. This gives us two separate bodies that we can work with. Now the parts have been split. Now we have three separate bodies, the cylindrical body and the two individual bodies that have been split from the rectangular part. Notice that Solidworks always renames the bodies to the last feature that touched the body. If we rolled back the split, the bodies were named Boss Extrude 1, Bodies 1 and 2. And if we, after the split, Boss Extrude 1 is the cylinder, and the split feature has touched the other two. Now, if we rename one of these, and we'll just call this renamed body, and then add a fillet feature. One of the things about fillets and bodies is that you can only fillet a single body at a time. So I'm going to just select the body on this renamed, and now you notice that if you rename a body, it doesn't get automatically renamed by another feature. But if I put a fillet on this feature, that one got renamed. So if you rename something, Solidworks will not rename it automatically. But otherwise, bodies are always going to change names according to whatever feature has touched that body last. Even though these bodies are face-to-face here, they're still two separate volumes. If I were to take this line and make it into an extruded surface, that becomes a separate surface body. Every time you create a solid feature, Solidworks is trying to join those features together into a single solid body. And that's because of a particular switch that you'll find in the software. So let's go and search that switch, create another extrusion, and one of the options in your extrude is going to be merge result. What that's going to do is it's automatically going to merge together any bodies that touch. So this new feature touches the cylindrical feature and our renamed body. So what's going to happen if I click on the green check here is that these three are now going to be replaced with a single body. And this one is still called fillet too. If I edit the sketch, move this line over, now the new feature is going to touch all three existing bodies and everything into a single solid body. So solid features are always trying to merge together into a single body. If you don't want that to happen, that's easy. You just turn off the merge result. But merge result is turned on by default because Solidworks is trying to make single solid bodies. And it's going to do that every chance it gets. Working with solid bodies always brings up questions of best practice and why are you doing it? The first question is, are you using solid bodies to make an assembly? If you're really trying to make an assembly in a single part, that's probably not a great idea. Assemblies should be in assembly files for a lot of reasons, because of drawings, bill of materials, part motion, in-context relationships, sharing parts later on down the road. There's just a lot of reasons why we have assembly documents and why we don't do everything as multi-body parts. So the reasons to create multi-body parts are A, a master model idea, which we'll cover in a later video. B, to use as reference. C, to use as a tool body. There are a lot of features in SolidWorks that require multi-body parts to be used as tool bodies. And if you don't have one of these reasons for using multi-bodies, maybe you should examine what you're doing and see if it's possibly done better as an assembly. There's always reasons to break the rules and to take little shortcuts, but trying to use multi-body parts instead of assemblies is just a very bad habit to get into. Thanks for watching part 1. Please come back for part 2, where we'll talk about body errors, the zero thickness geometry condition, and other multi-body topics.